Some fresh updates from Kensington Palace with a new video featuring Kate Middleton and Prince William. Plus, we'll discuss Prince Harry's thoughts on smartphones and their impact on young people, along with Sarah Ferguson sharing her joyful experience as a hands-on grandmother. Of course, we'll also touch on Princess Beatrice's pregnancy and more royal news. There's so much to unpack today, so let's get started. Kensington Palace has just released a new video featuring Kate Middleton and Prince William. And as usual, the internet is buzzing. In this latest clip, they're highlighting their ongoing charitable work and showcasing their commitment to mental health and environmental issues. It's no secret that the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have been extremely active in promoting mental well-being, and this video is another step forward in their advocacy. It's interesting to see how Kate and William continue to use their platform for good. But what do you think? Is this video making an impact? Or do you think the royals could be doing even more? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Just little things that people had sent in, cards and things, children wrote pictures and things, just...
I think as well, sorry, the family issue that you talked about, that's something that we sometimes don't recognise, how much to do more work to support families, because they do want to help. And that's where a lot of people go initially, to the friends and families, rather than just a really important point that about, especially if you're in a two-job family.
Yes. But it's an interesting debate that's had quite a lot actually about that, is that how much do you share with your loved one? And it's very individual. Some people do, some people don't.
Yeah, I think it's really important to be able to talk, but it's like people have said about protecting people as well, but it's important to have an outlet for that, and I think sometimes that's maybe where I see our service fits in, that there might be close family and friends that actually it's important for you to be able to talk about, so that's where reaching out to like a third party like us would give you that outlet.
First responders across the board, there's still gaps there that we could be better.
You can speak honestly.
I think we're quite privileged in the fire service that we seem to have a lot more time than the other services to be able to focus on mental health. Speaking beforehand, one of the things that was coming up quite frequently is that the other services don't necessarily get the time, because they're so busy, they don't get the time to actually be able to dedicate to looking at it. Yeah, maybe a bit from ourselves as well. Perhaps we'll have to go back into work and talk about things on the day off. That's what precious time for your children, and
A moment like this, or even if it wasn't just the attrition of what you guys do on a day-to-day basis, your line management come along and say, well, actually, there's a enforced break, if you like, on the work you're doing for say 2 or 3 weeks, to decompress, to go and do something different, to take your mind away, to go and maybe do some mental health training or work, whatever it might be. Instead of you as an individual, I'd put your hand up and say, I need help. Would that change the dynamic of the conversation here, do you think?
I think we stood ourselves down after the job.
I don't think there's the stigma that used to be surrounding mental health, service at all, really.
Because that's what I worry about, is if we're always relying on the individual to put their hand up and say, I need help, this is going to take an awfully long time to
People get lost along the way and won't be captured.
You're supporting individuals and families at sometimes the most traumatic or the darkest times for them, and actually for you to witness that and part of that, you needed support yourselves.
I found that very much of me. work and dealing with, because everybody's, so the next job you might go to them, that's the most important thing in the world. So you've got to treat that what we.
Takes, I imagine.
So for me, I went off the day after, well, that day, and then the Prime Minister came on Tuesday, so I went back into that. And that was quite difficult to deal with, because I wanted to just be alone and deal with what process what I just dealt with the day before, for 4 weeks. I tried to go back, it didn't work. I was sitting in the office feeling anxiety, which is not a common feeling for me in that setting, in my office, quite comfortable in my office. I felt anxious, my hands were sweating, my legs were shaking for no reason, being in the safety of my office, and I was seeing things that I normally see. So for example, there's always cake in a police office. There's always somebody's birthday, or somebody's always messed up. It always happens. There was a sharp knife on top of the cake, and that really sent me. I was, oh, I can't deal with that. I can't get a knife, which is so irrational to me. But I went off immediately. I was paid, which helps. Not everyone has that privilege of getting paid when you got off. That's out of 3 out of 10. I'm still on half hours, and he's reassured me that it can stay that way as long as it needs to.
Time to decompress, because it's so important that you have those moments.
And I met with families today, I can't underestimate what a support you are and the lifeline you are for them in doing that.
How are they doing?
They're okay. They're managing it differently. All the families are so different, and individually too, they're managing it and processing this tragic event in very different ways, but they're getting, again, support, and I think being able to have opportunities to be able to speak to different people in the community about the experience and joining up together and sharing their experience, I think is massively helpful. But yeah, I can't underestimate how grateful they on behalf of them, thank you.
True professionals, all of you. Hopefully I said the right thing. Help is exactly. Anything we can do, we like hardwires and
Yes.
and some support, we'll look at.
Thanks
Come and get warm, guys. Come and get warm. You're freezing. Cups of tea needed for all of you, I think.
We'll try and see you.
Yeah. Super. Very nice to meet you guys. Thank you. Love to meet you. How do you feel? Helicopter students. It's shoving you in. What aircraft do you fly? Exactly. How long have you done the aircraft?
Yeah. Well, let's come
They're used to it.
You guys were then. These guys see so much. It's got to go. We'll see the rest of the list. Thank you both. Took you back.
that, do you?
So when you're happy?
Good.
Yep. So if you don't mind just giving me your name and your job title, please.
Now on to a hot topic with Prince Harry, who recently made waves during a chat for World Mental Health Day. He claims that smartphones are stealing young people's childhood. He's not wrong. Studies have shown how social media has led to rising levels of anxiety and depression, especially among Gen Z. Alongside social psychologist Jonathan Haidt, Prince Harry pointed out that kids today face constant pressure from social media, which in some cases leads to self-harm and even suicide. They also touched on the fact that tech companies often try to shift the blame onto parents. But Haidt argued that once a child has a smartphone, it's like an endless battle for parents to control screen time. Harry and Haidt both seem to agree that social media companies have created this crisis, but aren't taking responsibility for it. What do you think? Are smartphones really to blame for all of this? Or do parents need to be more involved in monitoring their kids' screen time? Drop your thoughts below. I'm curious to know what you all think. Switching gears, let's talk about Sarah Ferguson, who recently appeared on This Morning and shared how much she's enjoying being a grandmother. She talked about the joys of playing with her grandchildren, from making Barbie houses to playing with trains for the boys. Fergie is loving every minute of it and mentioned how proud she is of her daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, for doing such an amazing job as mothers. And speaking of Beatrice, she just announced that she's expecting her second child with her husband, Edoardo Mapelli Mazzi. It's wonderful news for the family, and I'm sure they're all thrilled about the new addition. But here's something I want to know. Do you think being a grandparent has changed Fergie's image in the public eye? And how about the royals as a whole? Does their family dynamic make them more relatable, or do they still seem out of reach? Let me know what you think in the comments. Princess and Princess Eugenie's day out. Recently, the royal sisters Beatrice and Eugenie were spotted at the VIP preview of the Frieze Art Fair in London, and it seems like they had a fun sisterly day out. Both sisters were glowing at the event, and it was the first time we saw Beatrice since the news of her second pregnancy was announced by Buckingham Palace. As you all know, Princess Eugenie is also a mom to two adorable boys, and it seems like the sisters have become even closer since becoming mothers. Their day out at an art fair fits perfectly with their interests. Eugenie works in the art world, and Beatrice's husband is a property developer involved in interior design. What do you think of Beatrice's growing family? Are you excited about the next royal baby?